Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to present to you my argument that Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is the greatest 5th edition book ever written, bar none. Okay? Alright, so first of all, how do we get there? How can I claim this? Okay? So first of all, you can take all the adventure books, throw them out. They're all junk. They're only needed by new DMs. If no one ever wrote another adventure for Dungeons & Dragons, the world would be a better place, okay? Setting books, they're all junk settings, except Eberron. Eberron was pretty cool. It wasn't too bad. It was okay, right? But it was okay. Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, very cool setting. I really like it a lot, right? But it's a setting that nobody asked for, right? In addition, and then also Theros and Ravnica, those are truly settings nobody asked for, right? So actually Explorer's Guide to Wildemount is an exciting new setting. I really like that book. Tasha's is better, and I'm going to explain why. There's really nothing wrong with Explorer's. I really like Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, but I do think Tasha's is better. All right. So all the adventure books are out. We dealt with the setting books. What about the core books, right? Aren't the core books logically better than Tasha's? No, here's why. One, the 5th edition core books, the PHP, the DMG, the MM, they are masterful works done by, in my opinion, the best designer Dungeons & Dragons has ever had, bar none, and that's Mike Mearls, right? Gary Gygax was a brilliant guy. I really appreciate everything he did, but the reality is I'm convinced that Mike Mearls saved the game. That 4th edition, in 4th edition, there was a brief point where Pathfinder zoomed past Dungeons & Dragons, and it could have all been over for Dungeons & Dragons. 4th edition was so hated, it was an actual threat to the existence of the game, right? And so, like, you know, VHS and Beta, right? Like, Beta Max, maybe it was Beta. Beta Max, I think. Beta Max got defeated, you know, like, and we could be living in a Pathfinder world right now if Mike Mearls hadn't fixed the game with 5th edition. The PHP, the Monster Manual, the DMG, all designed by, lead design work by Mike Mearls. Brilliant books. Now, why are they not better than Tasha's? Here's why. They're precedented. They're precedented 4 times. It's the 5th edition of the game. Every single one of those books has already been done at least 4 times. Probably actually a lot more than that, right? So it was just the 5th time that those books were being written, right? There was a path for writing all of those. There was a structure for writing all of those. Tasha's is so that's it. That's all that's left is Xanathar's, right? Is the 4 utility books, right? Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, not a great book. I haven't touched that and explained why, but it's not a great book. Volo's is virtually worthless. It almost never sees light of day at my table, right? I don't know what people were thinking with that book. Xanathar's is incredible, right? But it is secondary to Tasha's, and we're going to talk about why. So here's why Tasha's is the best 5th edition book ever written. So one, we're 7 years into 5e, right? And they had a decision to make. They could continue to try to keep the game balanced and really keep everything balanced 7 years in. But the problem with that is if you keep writing utility books and they just have a bunch of junk that doesn't excite anybody and is not better than the PHP, people buy it and go, there's nothing in here that's better than the PHP. What was the point, right? People want a book packed with cool stuff. The stuff in the subclasses, the magic items definitely, right? The puzzles, right? And the what else is in there? The biggest thing is the magic items. The tattoos, the magical tattoos, absolutely brilliant. Magical items you can't lose, right? There's so much innovation in how the magic items are built. The subclasses are so good, right? And here's the thing. With this book, Wizards of the Coast completely abandoned game balance, right? They just tore the lid off of the mechanical aspects of the game, and we're like, here's just a crap ton of crazy powerful. Oh, and patrons, right? So patrons is a completely new way to play the game. It is absolutely fantastic content that I was just blown away with the quality of it. The magic items are better than anything in the PHB or the DMG, right? And the monster. There's very cool monsters. They're not better than the monster manual, but there's some really cool monsters in there. And the puzzles are fun, right? And the puzzles are unprecedented. We've really never had an entire section of puzzles, right? It is really, really impressive. And what I really love about it is they just abandoned game balance, and that thing is just chock packed full of amazing material. And the game is completely unbalanced now, right? And the thing I love about Tasha's is everybody has to buy it, right? If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you're past session 4, right, you got no business running Dungeons and Dragons without Tasha. And if you are a DM who's not allowing everything in Tasha's in your game, that sucks. That's lame. I think that's really unfair to your players, right? This stuff is incredibly well crafted. It does tear the roof off the game and sends the game in new directions, and it puts more strain on Dungeon Masters, but I think that's exactly where we should be, right? Dungeon Masters should be straining to contain their player characters because their player characters are so awesome. And if the way you're doing that is by saying, oh, this new awesome book doesn't go in my game, that's really unfair to your tabletop role-playing players. It really is very unfair. So I really, basically this is like it, in the car world, this is a GTO. This is a V8, and it just goes faster than anything that came before it, right? It's just more powerful, better style, faster. This thing, Tasha's, is a beast, and it's unprecedented, right? Never in my life have I seen a game that more unbalanced the game, and I love that. I love that it unbalanced the game, because it's 7 years into an edition. I like that things are shook up, right? I like that DMs need to scramble. I like that players are going to bring just ridiculous builds to the table and really going to press their DMs, right? This shakes stuff up. This gives us a new play style, a new play arena. I'm all for it. I think Tasha's is the best Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition book ever printed. Am I wrong? Am I right? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.